This is Ray Bly for U.S. Congress District 7. The wacky, unusual candidate that'll tell you exactly where he stands and, in some cases, what he thinks of you too. The constituents, especially extreme left-wing liberals, that want to take away our rights and make all this political correctness shit. When I was a boy, everybody volunteered at the fire department, was members of the Lions Club and all these other American Legions and VFWs and all this other stuff, because they had time. The wife took care of the home, the bills, maybe did babysitting to raise extra money to help the family out in the home. The father worked 9 to 5. Gas stations, all stores were closed after dark almost. Hardly a place would be open at night. Families ate together, had dinner together, breakfast together. What happened? Our corporate world happened with all these advertisements. You gotta buy a bigger house, a bigger house, a bigger house. You're nobody unless you have $1 million home. Make that $5 million home. Why? You have to have a TV in every room, a Nintendo system in every room. You gotta have all of this stuff. Buy. Advertisements making you feel inferiority complexes. Because your neighbor has it, you have to have all of this stuff. The corporate world has just run rampant, brainwashing us. And all these advertisements with sex background driven advertisements. What happened to our country with the greed that we now have? Why do you think we have so much unrest in inner cities? Because the poor people want this stuff too. Because of greed. Nobody's happy with what they have now, or the way they look now, or the car they drive now. And this is causing so much more heart attacks, ulcers, lung cancers, because people are hyperventilating because of all the stress put on them to buy. And when you buy, then you're starting to have to get 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Your wife has to get out of the house to work. You send your kids when they're old enough to work to help buy their own clothes. It's just been a ridiculous cycle abusing us, these corporate worlds, with all the advertisements, brainwashing us. When I was in Vietnam, they had one TV in the community. Everybody used to come over and watch my father-in-law's TV. It was only on 2 hours a night. Nobody wanted a TV. Somebody already had it, and most of the community invested to help them buy it. But they only had 2 hours of shows on. Everybody was happy with what they had, because they weren't brainwashed to think they had to have all of the stuff that we are brainwashed to do. This is what capitalism is that we're spreading in the world and spreading here in America. Buy. Hell, if you ain't got any more room in your garage, your basement, your attics, your closets in your home, storage spaces are booming now because people have so much stuff. Have a yard sale and get rid of all of that stuff that you bought by mistake, that you've never used, you won't ever use. It's just decaying in your basement, your attics, your closets, and your storage spaces. And start living realistic. You don't need this stuff. We have to stop the corporate world in controlling what we believe and go back to our Christian heritage, where God is against greed, God is against wealth. He told his rich disciple to give away what you have and follow me, I will provide. We don't need all this stuff. I'm poor, but I like to help people with the little extra money I have. I've helped people when I ain't had a can of soup in the house for my kids over the years, being that poor. Especially when the state was coming after me to convict me. But I refused to get welfare. I refused to get food stamps. I was determined to fight. And a lot of friends that had helped came over and helped me pay my mortgage, pay my electric bill. And I'm trying to pay them back now. They refused me to pay them back because they still know I don't have a lot. But I do have a little extra. I want to try to pay them back. This is what real life is. Not all this corporate imaging. I had 15 people living in a 2-bedroom house. I helped a lot of refugees. They lived in the basement. There was 5 to a room in the 2 bedrooms. I put my 3 kids in a 12 by 18 foot bedroom with me and my wife in bunk beds. You don't need all that extra space. We only had 1 bathroom, which was a problem. I've added 2.5 more since then. But I've had a lot of refugees from Vietnam in this house. They didn't care that I didn't have a fancy room for each one of them. They just cared about getting a life started in America. And then they got brainwashed. They all got million-dollar homes now, paying through the nose, working 2 jobs, just like Americans. After 40 years being here since 1975, 76, 77, through 80 when I was sponsoring a lot. Wake up, America. We gotta bring back our conservative Christian values. And let all religions worship also. Thank you very much. This is Ray Bly for U.S. Congress District 7.